Are screens stealing your child's future? Let's talk about the surprising effects of excessive screen time, from developmental delays and poor sleep habits to tech addiction that's reshaping the attention spans of our children. This is not about banning technology. Electronics are part of our lives, and they can even be an amazing tool when used correctly. Today, we are going to break down very easy and actionable strategies to help your kids build healthier habits, maintain focus, and thrive in a tech-driven world. Stick around. This could change how your family approaches screen time forever.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Parenting is Easy, Said No One Ever. I am your host, Chananya Abraham, and there's a really important topic we must talk about, something that really has been in the works for, I would say, years. And unfortunately, we've never had an opportunity to actually talk about it. And that's going to be electronics and our kids, a topic that is probably going to be something for us to be talking about for a very, very, very long time. I want to make this very, very clear. This is in no way, shape, or form bashing and saying electronics are bad, because I think electronics are phenomenal. We're on it right now as we all hear and listen to this and watch this. And it's also something that we're going to be having for a very long time because we've become so dependent on it. And our world is a very, very electronic world. But this video specifically is going to be talking about what we can do and how to have some sort of guidance when it comes to working with our children and setting them up to be the best version of themselves together with electronics. Before we go any further, if you have any questions, concerns, if you would like some specific personal details regarding how to go about certain things, please follow the link below, like and subscribe so you can see more of these awesome videos. That being said, we're going to break down into 3 specific categories when it comes to how to work with electronics with our kids. The first thing is screen time and developmental delays. So the danger would be that when there is excessive screen time during critical developmental stages of their life, language can be affected, the way they're going to interact with others is going to be affected, and also their cognitive abilities. So their social skills, cognitive abilities, and also language is going to be drastically affected. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends specifically for children ages 2 to 5, no more than 1 hour a day, and it goes up depending on the ages, about a half hour a day through different ages. The second thing to really keep in mind when it comes to electronic use is sleep and the effects that it has on sleep. When we have too much screen time, especially before bedtime, children's sleep cycles can lead to poor sleep quality and shorter durations of sleep. So they're not going to get the deeper levels of REM that they actually need. And that's really important to know, that if a child is not going to have the right REM levels and they're not going to be sleeping enough, then obviously that's going to affect the rest of their day. It's very important, and this is for number 2 over here, to make sure that there is a strict, highly enforced curfew when it comes to electronics, at least 1 hour before bedtime. And encourage pre-sleep routines, whether it's breathing, brushing teeth, listening to some music, or even reading a book and storytelling. Whether it's our job to do it with our kids, which is very, very important, I'll get back to that soon, or kids doing it themselves. Now, I have to remember, before we get to number 3 over here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our kids to lead the best lives possible. As much as we want them in our houses and they should be with us all the time, everywhere, but our job as parents is to make sure that our kids are the best versions of themselves. And sometimes what that takes is a little more work from us. So if it means that you get a little less screen time, you get a little less playing time or downtime so that you can read a book with your child so they see this is what we do and this is mommy and me time, that's amazing. And that's going to plant the seeds for such a healthy, developmental, and emotionally healthy child when we do things with our children. Don't do it on a screen. Do it in a book. Do it in a game. Play tic-tac-toe. Play hangman. But put yourself in a place to help your kid out, not by showing them, but by teaching them, by you modeling it for them. So read a book with them, do certain things with them, let them know that mommy and daddy, we have things that we do to not be on electronics at all time. When we have
prolonged electronic or iPad use that can overstimulate the brain's reward system. It can lead to dependency in general and shorter attention spans and the need for more. Have you ever had it when your kid is on a game and then you say 2 more minutes before bed? Okay, yeah, no problem, 2 more minutes. And then they don't listen and it's 20 minutes later. And then what do? You shut off the TV or you take with the iPad. What's the first thing that they do? They start screaming and wailing. They go crazy. Why is that? That's because the brain is attached to it and therefore they want it more. And similar to someone that might be on drugs, the same exact concept is when you take it away from them, they react in a certain way. What we want is for our kids to be able to have a healthy attention span, a non-addictive brain that is watching or playing something within the games that they're doing. And on top of that, to also know if they're going to be playing games, try to have them stay in one game for as long as possible instead of them switching between multiple games all the time, because that can also add to that attention issues in school, how they're going to be socially, how they're going to be regarding their sleep, like we're talking about, and also their dependency is going to be constantly needing to change, which is not going to be helpful in any way. When a child who is frequently changing between apps or games, they may struggle to focus on tasks in school that require sustained attention. And that's something that's talked about in a lot of literature, in a lot of scientific literature. So what we can do is we want to be able to encourage a balanced tech use by scheduling regular tech-free times, certain times, and not just meal times where there are no electronics allowed. So what that does is it shows that, hey, I can have a functional life. If I'm having a play date, it doesn't have to be on Xbox. It could be playing something like a board game or coloring or going outside and playing a sport. It doesn't have to be with electronic. So I think the overall thing to understand when it comes to electronic is that there is no one way to go about doing these things. It's very, very important for us as parents to know that I have a responsibility to make the rules for each household, for each child, specific for what they need. If you see that their attention in school is getting less and less, okay, what's the correlation when it comes to their iPad use? If you see that they're not able to have more interpersonal relationships, how is that being affected by the electronics? If we see that they're not sleeping well, okay, what's the connection there? Remember, ABC, always be curious, see what's happening, know what's happening around your child to know how they're feeling, how they're reacting, how they're dealing with different types of different situations. There is no one set rule. Electronics are here to stay. We want to be able to work with our children and we want to be able to have discussions with them. So don't do it in a authoritarian way of delivering this message to them, but say, hey, this is something we're taking on. It's really exciting. This is something that's going to be beneficial to us both today, tomorrow, and when you go into the next grade and when you graduate elementary or high school or college. It's putting you in a place to be in control over the situation, and you want to be able to work with them. Consider them a partner in this and not just a child of because I said so, because that's when they might sneak and go ahead and do more. What we want to be able to do is say, hey, we're doing this together. I guess nowadays we would say, let's collab in a certain way. So that's really important. So again, we have the concept of the developmental, we have the concept of sleep, and we have the concept of addiction. So we have to be very, very careful to make sure that our children we are helping our children do the best that they can for themselves in their lives, and they are striving higher and higher and higher. If you like this video, if there are other videos that you think could be really, really beneficial, that you would like some guidance on, please respond and post in the comments below. Like and subscribe wherever you are watching this. And as always, stay curious.